thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bring in the next speaker. But before I bring in the next speaker, I'm going to introduce you to um, some of the works that he's done. Just give me a second. It's perfect. So our next speaker is Professor Ataur Belal. He's a professor of accounting and sustainability at Birmingham Business School, University of Birmingham. He has previous professorial and leadership roles at Aston and Sheffield universities, and he is internationally recognized for his work in social and environmental accounting in emerging economies. His current research focuses on accounting for the sustainability, particularly beneficiary accountability. Professor Belal has led major international research collaborations funded by the British Council, British Academy, and the CIMA, and has published extensively in leading journals. He has also served as a dedicated PhD supervisor and global advocate for sustainability-driven accounting education. Professor Belal, thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Please feel free to share your screen. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Can I start now? Are you okay to move it?
You can start now.
All right. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present in this World Sustainability Conference. I congratulate the organizers for wonderful organization of this conference. What I'm talking about in this presentation is a project that I've been running for a while now, which is talking about the translation or implementation of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals framework, which addresses a number of grand challenges like the issue of climate change, poverty alleviation, equality, etc. And these needs urgent attention by 2030. That's the time frame we have. This framework is a successor to the previous Millennium Development Goals framework, which had a 15 years accounting period ending in 2015. So SDG has got another 15-year accounting period until 2030. But how much progress have been made so far? There was indication in the 2023 United Nations General Assembly that less than 20% targets are on track so far. But in order to know the progress, we need reliable account of the SDG implementation at the global level, at the national level, at the organizational level. Now, the focus of this project is at the organizational level. And the key question we are asking in this project is how these kind of global frameworks, such as the UN SDGs, are translated at the micro organizational level. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is the most widely touted picture that we have seen around the world. 17 goals. Can I go into the next slide, please? With 169 targets and 232 indicators. And there is a structure in this framework which almost looks like the accountant's chart of accounts. So there is a goal, 17 of them, which has been broken down into several targets, and there are 169 of them in total. And each target is split into several indicators to measure the performance against each indicator, and there are 232 of them. If we look at just one, goal 8, which is about the decent work and economic growth. And one of the target in that goal is target 8.7, which is about the modern slavery conditions, and it sets a very ambitious target of eliminating child labor by 2025. And within that target 8.7, there's an indicator 8.7.1, which asks for measuring performance against this indicator, which measures percentage and the number of children aged 5 to 17 years who are engaged in child labor according to their sex and age. So this slide gives an example of the structure of the one particular goal within the UN SDG framework. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now, the word translation, we are referring to the sociology of translation literature here. By no means we don't mean linguistics translation here. In the sociology of translation, Calon, Barbara Charinowska, Bruno Letour, these are the kind of key scholars who have used the word translation. So we are drawing from this literature. And for the purpose of this project, what we mean by translation is sociocultural transformation, which is a complex process of negotiation during which the meanings, claims, interests change and gain new ground. A related concept is the concept of molestation, which has been used by the scholar Edward Said. He uses the word in the sense of authority, text, power, particularly the power to molest a particular text or a concept to meet the needs of the relevant parties. Yes, next slide, please. Now, the operational definition of translation here, how the SDG framework is applied in the global context, in the national context, and also in the organizational context, and what account thereof is produced. Now, the scholars like Bevington and Unaman urges the accounting scholars to undertake research in this area and bring insights into the translation process and accounting thereof. So here is an example. Next is an example of the global SDG account, which is the Sustainable Development Goals Report 2025, produced by United Nations. So in this report, you get a global picture of SDG performance so far and accounting thereof. Next. The next level is the national level account. Now, national level, the 192 countries who have committed to implement SDGs in their national jurisdiction, they prepare a plan, which is technically called National Action Plan, which is basically their way of saying to the world that this is how we plan to translate or implement SDG in our country. But that's a plan. How do we know that plan has been executed and what is the performance against that plan at a particular point in time? And that requires a reliable account, which is technically called Voluntary National Review, VNR. Next slide. So this is a slide which illustrates that an example of a national level SDG account, which is on the left side. You can see this is the Bangladesh's Voluntary National Review 2020 against their plan, the National Action Plan of implementing SDGs in Bangladesh. So these are the two example of global level implementation and accounting thereof. and the national level implementation and accounting thereof. The way SDG has been developed and articulated, they have been designed to be implemented at the national or country level. They have not been designed to be implemented at the organizational level. Irrespective what we are seeing around the world, organizations are making reference to SDGs, although the template was originally designed to be implemented at the national level. So to help organizations to implement SDGs and produce a reliable account thereof, various translation tools have been developed. Now, there is a link between the national and the global in the sense that the VNR and the National Action Plan are transmitted toward the United Nations High-Level Political Forum. And that's where the consolidation work takes place to produce the Global Sustainable Development Goals report, which I showed to you in one of the previous slides. Now we are moving into the third level of implementation, which is the organizational level implementation. Because the original SDG framework was developed for national level implementation, we need translation tool to implement it within the organizational boundaries. And SDG Compass is an example of such tool which gives organization the guidance how to go about the business of translating SDG framework to be implemented within the organizational boundary. Next slide. United Nations Global Compact provide another tool called SDG Action Manager. Remember, United Nations Global Compact is a club of various corporate members. So this action manager gives them guidance how to implement SDGs at the individual company level. Next slide. Professor Carol Adams published a recommendation, SDG disclosure recommendation, whereby she gave guidance to the organizations how to implement SDGs and how to disclose their SDG performance against a series of key indicators. I didn't have time to go into the detail of all this translation tool due to the time constraint. Now, here is an example. So I showed you example of the global level account, national level account, and here is an example of the organizational level account. So the Manchester University have been publishing SDG reports since 2019. And that is not the only university which is producing SDG report. Many other universities around the world are producing SDG account. And I will talk about this a little bit more in a moment. Next slide. So just to remind you, our key question is how global frameworks such as SDGs are translated at the micro-organizational level. Next slide. Now, to address that question, we have undertaken a series of global case studies around the world. So we have undertaken case studies in Saudi Arabia, Chile, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and the United Arab Emirates. And some papers have been published so far, and funded research report has been published. And this is one of the first paper that I'm sharing with you now, which has been published earlier this year in a journal called Financial Accountability and Management. This paper is based on a case study of a university in Saudi Arabia. So how did they implement SDG and produced an account thereof? And the translation at the university level and our examination suggests that there are two key drivers of going down this route for the particular university in Saudi Arabia. One is to develop alignment with the national framework like Saudi Vision 2030, which is basically the national action plan of Saudi Arabia. And the other key driver was their desire to rank highly in the Times Higher Education Impact Ranking, which is basically a ranking of universities around the world based on their SDG performance. So here, another example of organizational level translation, and the translation tool in this case have been provided by the Times Higher Education. Outcome is the case university like Manchester University published SDG reports, and there are also changes in the organizational structures, policies, and practices to better align with SDGs. For example, they have established a powerful, influential sustainability center to deal with the SDG translation at the university. We use the work of Barbara Charinowska and the notion of disembedding and re-embedding. Particularly, we found the evidence of re-embedding the SDG framework in this particular context. And one thing worth noting here is that when SDGs, like the universal framework, apply to the different country context and different organizational context, obviously it comes into conflict with, can you go back to the previous slide, please? Comes into a conflict with the existing socio-political circumstances. And that's the evidence we have found in this country, particularly when it comes to applying the SDG 5, the gender equality. There was some incompatibilities with the local contextual factors like the religious and the political system. There was tension when implementing SDG 5, and they found their own way of dealing with it, and we described that tension and the process in their in the paper. Helen, I think we need to skip some of the keep going. I wouldn't have time to go into this, but these are the kind of findings from various other countries. Keep going. Keep going. Thank you. Just stop here. So what we are trying to do in this project is, in terms of contributions and implications, is theory development of a conceptual framework for organizational level translation of SDGs. And for the policy level, we are aiming to develop a guidance framework for policies on SDGs and their translation. And for practice level, we would like to capture the best practice of SDG implementation and accounting thereof to share and encourage further translations. Next slide. Now, just a minute on this slide. Remember earlier I said that there is a connection between global and the national level translation and accounting thereof, in the sense that National Action Plan and the BNRs, which are the national level SDG account, are sent back to the UN for further consolidation. Now, what we do not see is the link between organizational level account in a particular country and the VNR document of that particular country. So the challenge or the future question that we are asking here, how do we link the national and organizational level translation of SDGs and accounting thereof? And I see here accountants, data scientists needs big data discipline needs to work together to explore the possibilities of this link between organizational and national level accounting. In order to have better, improved, and accurate national level account, we need organizational level account of SDG implementation and develop link between the two. At the moment, there is very little or no link between national and organizational level account of SDGs. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any quick questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor, for that insightful presentation. So we're going to, if you still have a moment to stay with us, we're going to bring you back for Q&A. So we're going to take the next speaker, and after that, we take Dr. Helen, and then we'll have a panel discussion on the various presentations. So thank you so much.